it's great to have a lot of different people at the table, but if we can't get people to speak up and we can't get other people to pay attention and listen, there's not a lot of benefit to having a lot of different looking people at the table. And so really thought diversity is creating a variation of thought, insight, input, but where it gets due consideration. And I think this is the part that you really have to be conscious about, and you really have to think, am I listening to what people are saying? Am I asking questions so that I fully understand? And this is the part that I think sometimes in the fast-paced corporate America that it is very difficult to just take a pause and say, do I really hear what they're saying? And am I valuing? And I think sometimes with not only some of the age differences that are happening at work, but all the different varieties of things that are happening in the workplace, it's not always easy to sort of take a moment to say, what else is out there? And when I think about diversity, oftentimes because of the work I do, many people think, well, that's just gender. But in reality, there are so many different types of diversity. And the goal for a lot of executives today is to get as much diversity at the table as they can, and not just get them at the table, but get them participating in a productive way, which takes really two sides of the equation, right? The person participating and the person listening. Think about some of the initiatives you're working on, and then think about what could be the real benefits to having more thought diversity in those teams. Do you have a direct line, or do you know your direct line to revenue? Are you directly related to operations of how to moving things through the process and steps, or do you spend time in this particular initiative that you're thinking of on branding and customer awareness or industry impact? So just think about it for a minute. It will help as we're going through some of the other questions. Large Fortune 500 companies, especially ones that are over 10 million, say they strongly agree that innovation happens when we get diverse talent, diverse input at the table and discussing how to move forward with new products, new operations, and how to show up in the marketplace. And there's some really cool career paths that may be lateral moves or diagonal moves or jumping from one department into another and being able to bring that diverse viewpoint. And so thinking about different paths that people either on your team or that you may want to pursue in 3 to 5 years from now. And saying, listen, I know we don't agree on this, and that is okay, but like, what is your desired outcome? Because maybe we need to line backwards, right? Get to that outcome and then go this way. And it's amazing when you start to open that conversation, how like that wall of energy is like, whew, yeah, you know what, I don't like you that much right this minute, but I'm sure we can work this out. And it really oftentimes, sometimes those people become to be your best allies, right? They really are, ends up working in the right direction, so that's good. You have? Yesterday. Sometimes it's good just to get it out there, yeah. You can see why sometimes, things are said at the coffee machine or maybe leaving the room with some eye rolling and some frustration. We are different. We're different at home. We're different at work. And so the important point of this is just recognizing the differences. No one's going to be able to change the differences, but sitting in a meeting and now you have the different genders speaking and one goes about it one way and one goes about it the other way and saying, oh, I get it now. Okay, yeah, that's how they process information, or that's how that group generally works through problems. Because I think this is really important because you have such diverse teams, you have such diverse in age that, a lot of people just want to get it there. A lot of leaders just want to get there, and a lot of times people are asking all these questions and trying to figure it out and doing all these people. And you can see how some people might get labeled in different ways, right? Have you seen some of the labeling? In my experience, like some of the labeling, for example, like, she asks so many questions. She makes this so unproductive. As you can see, I mean, it's not that she understands it any less than maybe another person in the room, but she really is trying to go at it different ways. And so one of the things we talk a lot about is making sure that we make people feel comfortable in their own process to get to the same endpoint. And I think if you think about what we talked about earlier is trying to engage and support, and then you layer on these differences, you can see how it can get complicated. So really going in with an open mind and sort of thinking, okay, I saw this, I see that there are these differences, I need to be more open to this and more supportive. So if you're in meetings too, I've been in meetings where there'd be different genders and such, and people cut each other off, or they try to get to the point, or they're trying to solve the problem so fast. And you can see how through the communication styles and work styles, or even through the length of a project, how much frustration happens at different points in time. I think everybody, not many people get up in the morning and say, I'm just going to do a horrible job at work today. I'm going to go in there and make everybody miserable. Not many people do that, right? So most people come to work wanting to do a good job, but they may go bad at very differently. And so when you're thinking about thought diversity and then you think about preferred styles here, you can see how there may be some mismatching and how it really is up to you as a leader and an individual, and also for many of you that are managers, to help figure out a happy medium that allows you to get some thought diversity but still support different processes that are actually happening. What hasn't been said, and maybe something you talk amongst your group, you can say during the networking session, but I always like to end sessions is really thinking about when you think about, as you get up, push in your chair, what is it that you're going to take with you? What is the one thing that you're going to do a little bit differently than before you showed up today? All of us can make a difference, and it may not be, you can do it in even the work you're doing, even the activities you do outside of work and inside of work, is giving people safe environments to voice their opinion, advocating for divergent viewpoints, and helping one another push initiatives forward.